Nobody kept track of me, so nobody was really that surprised when halfway through my senior year, I dropped out of high school and applied to go in the military. I only had a problem with one of the questions on the application. Let's just go through this section together and see if you can figure out which one, shall we? A. Have you ever taken any narcotic substance, sedative, stimulant, or tranquilizer drugs except as prescribed by a licensed physician? At the time I filled out this form, I had not. B. Have you ever intentionally sniffed glue, paint, hairspray, or other chemical fumes? To be clear, they're talking about poppers, right? Again, at the time I filled out this form, I had not. C. Have you ever been involved in the use, purchase, possession, or sale of marijuana, LSD, or any other harmful or habit-forming drugs and or chemicals except as prescribed by a licensed physician? Say it with me. At the time I filled out this form, I had not. D. Has your use of alcoholic beverages, such as liquor, beer, wine, ever resulted in the loss of a job, arrest by police, or treatment for alcoholism? Surprisingly, that answer remains no. E. Have you ever been a patient, whether or not formally committed, in any institution primarily devoted to the treatment of mental, nervous, emotional, psychological, or personality disorders? Do I really need to say this out loud? At the time I filled out this form, I had not. And my favorite, F. Have you ever engaged in homosexual activity? I wanted to ask define activity. But it was easier just to check no. I was 17 and wanted to be anywhere but where I was. And I only had to tell one lie to make that happen? I spent my entire military career at Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas, Nevada. Boy from the country left his home when he was young. The first day of basic training, you're given a haircut, a uniform, a temporary job assignment, and you're taught to salute. My salute was perfect. My uniform was perfect. The gig line, that's the imaginary line between your chin and your testicles, perfect. My temporary job assignment, not so perfect. Latrine queen. Between that and the fact that basic training was in San Antonio, Texas in August, I hated it so much that halfway through basic training, I marched into the infirmary up to the first doctor I could find and I said, "I'm sorry, I lied, I'm gay." The last thing I thought he was going to say was, "What a coincidence!" He talked me into staying, and I'm so glad he did, because I ended up loving being part of the military. And being stationed in Las Vegas, come on. If you were stationed at Nellis Air Force Base and a show on the Las Vegas Strip wasn't sold out, you could get a ticket for $0.25. I saw Shirley MacLaine at the Riviera for 25 cents. I saw Tina Turner at the Silverbird for 25 cents. For 25 cents, I saw Pippin starring Jack. I met him after the show. Went back to his place. One thing led to another. And his boyfriend came home from work early and caught us in their bed together. Long story short, after I moved in with Jack, I went out to fill out the paperwork for off-base housing, and in the box that says reason for request, I wrote, "Living off-base with my boyfriend Jack." The next day, I'm standing in front of a panel of OSI agents facing court-martial. One of them asked, "Airman Iverson, have you ever performed oral copulation on another man?" I had no idea what that was. So I said, "Probably." In the box that says reason for discharge, box 28, all caps, homosexuality. Oh, for the record, this was totally worth this. There it is, folks, all caps. I'm so sorry. Is this the first time some of you are seeing a homosexual discharge? You know, I never tell this story, but you should know how your tax dollars were spent that week. The OSI, the Office of Special Investigations, That's who the $6 million man and the bionic woman worked for. They didn't just take my word for it. No, they flew 2 uniformed agents to Santa Cruz, California to confirm with a boy that I'd blown... Sorry. Orally copulated him. I know this because he called me while they were there. He wasn't mad. He just didn't want to lie to the OSI, and he couldn't remember if we'd orally copulated. We had.